The same $1 million budget can buy completely different homes across the Denver metro region. In one neighborhood, it's a small bungalow that still needs work. In another, it's 5,000 plus square feet with a 3-car garage and nothing left to touch. Today, I'm taking that $1 million to 6 of the best areas in the metro to show you what it buys. Let's get into it. Now, $1 million will not buy you a quote-unquote luxury home in this market. Luxury is defined in a few different ways depending on who you ask. Some say it's over $1 million. Some say it's the top 5% of home prices in the metro, which would put the starting point at nearly $2 million. Some simply define luxury by the style and finishes of a home. I'm certainly not here to tell you that $1 million is nothing. We're not LA, but I'm not going to tell you that this is true luxury anywhere in Denver either. $1 million puts you well above the middle of the market. Median home price across the metro is $600,000, but it's still nowhere near the top in the neighborhoods everybody dreams about where true luxury can run past $4 million. And while $1 million doesn't always reflect the highest price points, it can check lots of boxes with some really great options depending on what you're looking for in almost every corner of the metro. And that's from close-in city bungalows to big new suburban builds, so I'd say that depending on where you want to land, this is a fantastic budget. Keep the smaller end of that in mind because a few stops from now, out by a certain reservoir, I'll show you where this same budget buys you nearly double the house. But first, let's start where $1 million buys you the least amount of house, right in the heart of the city. Tree-lined streets, a big park you can walk to every morning, coffee shops and restaurants close enough to stroll to on a Saturday. That's Washington Park, or as we locals call it, Wash Park for short. One of Denver's most loved and priciest neighborhoods where custom high-end homes can clear $4 million. New construction homes with 4,000 plus square feet mark some of the city's most desirable real estate. These buyers want the size of a suburban home with the feel of the city close by. They're paying for walkability, park access, and often mountain views from their third-level outdoor deck overlooking the park. For those without that big of a budget, you can still live in Wash Park for about $1 million. But you will certainly be in a much smaller home. Think a maximum of 2,500 square feet, including the basement. These are classic Denver homes, typically bungalows built in the early 1900s. The original layout may take some creativity from a buyer to make it work for their modern lifestyle, and I can almost guarantee that if you're in Wash Park proper, the home will need some cosmetic updates even at $1 million. Now, these bungalows are beloved homes, often with great bones that you'll want to put some work into over time, or maybe just do a full renovation for several months before moving in, pushing the value to $1.5 million and up. Point being, at $1 million, you might find that the home is livable, but it will not be updated. Some buyers will take the existing home and structure, gut it, pop the top, add a third level because they love the original brick so much. If one of these homes is just too far gone, maybe it has significant structural issues or other major concerns, it's likely a builder or developer will pick up the land, scrape it, and build a modern luxury home on top of it, so long as it's a decent lot size. Bottom line, if you've only got $1 million, Wash Park is doable, but you should expect to invest in the home in the coming years. Pro tip, you might consider looking west of Wash Park too. The neighborhood is literally called West Wash Park, where you'll get a little more bang for your buck. Either way, you're less concerned about the size and condition of your home. This play is about being in the heart of the action. One of Denver's most popular urban neighborhoods. You will hit the park every day for a run, walk, tennis, picnics, volleyball, you name it. You will stroll to Gaylord Street for dinners, drinking, shopping. You'll drive 5 minutes into downtown for a show. This is where the fun is. So that's one of the city of Denver's best neighborhoods. What happens though when you take that same $1 million budget and drive a bit south? Well, it starts to open up a bit. But before that, if you're weighing one of these areas for your own move and you want a straight answer on what your $1 million gets you in that spot, this is the conversation I have with buyers every single week, regardless of your budget. My contact info is in the description below, so feel free to reach out. All right, let's get back into it. Head south, and now your $1 million has room to stretch out. In Centennial's nicer pockets, that same budget that barely cracked the door in Wash Park now gets you around 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. And under that size, it can come in nicely updated. You'll get a bigger lot than really anything in the city, over 7,000 square feet oftentimes, and often access to a community pool, tennis courts, some of the best trail systems in the entire metro area run through Centennial, so you can get out for a run or a bike without seeing a single car. Just you, your neighbors, and some fresh air under the trees. I recently put out a full video on Centennial, so go learn more about the community there, but it's more suburban, just 20 to 30 minutes south from the heart of Denver. So if you like going into the city for work, trendy restaurants, or shows, this is a great option at this budget. Most of the homes were built in the 70s and 80s, high-quality builds with great bones and under 4,000 square feet at $1 million. You should expect plenty of updates to the home, including the big-ticket items, major systems like HVAC, roof, etc. And because these communities are 50 years old, many of them, the trees are mature. It's such a pretty part of town with tall green, maple, and pine trees and lots of open space. Push past 4,000 square feet at this price in Centennial though, and the honest answer is you should expect a home that might need a refresh for those bigger homes. Those homes done up can climb all the way up to about $2 million. And hang on to that name, Centennial, because I'll compare all these neighborhoods again by the end after you've seen everyone. But I have a lot to get to before that comparison, so let's move on. If you're a move-up family that wants a yard, strong schools, and neighbors who know each other, all while staying a short drive from Denver, Centennial is your sweet spot. It makes it easier to get anywhere while keeping that community feel, but the price definitely reflects that, so you won't get the most space. But if the city lifestyle isn't your thing at all, there's a pocket just west of Denver that does turnkey a little differently. Just west of the city sits a slice of old school Americana, built out mostly in the 50s and 60s, where $1 million buys you something with real character, Wheat Ridge. In many parts of Wheat Ridge, we're talking a cool brick ranch style home up to 4,000 square feet, typically closer to 3,000 in this price point. You're likely sitting on a lot that can run up to 10,000 square feet, nicely updated on top of that at $1 million. Many of these ranches maintain a mid-century feel with modern updates. Others have been updated with a more contemporary feel, so there's something for everyone's style, but this is very typical for that $1 million price point. Like Centennial, you get mature lots with lots of privacy and foliage and access into Denver. Here on the northwest side, you're very close to amenities and fun in Old Town Arvada, and you're close to the Denver Highlands neighborhoods, where you'll find some of the best dining and local shops in the area. Wheat Ridge prices can climb well past that $1 million mark, with some $3 million homes in the mix. There's quite a bit of development in this region right now with custom new construction homes, some really well done real estate. Regardless, the draw here is simple. You get close to Denver without living the city life in a home that's fully done with nothing to touch, the very definition of turnkey. So Wheat Ridge is for the buyer who wants space and a big lot, but doesn't want to lift a finger once they've got the keys. Now, if turnkey space is what you're after, wait till you see how far the same money goes once you drive out to the eastern edge of the metro. Remember that smaller end of the budget I told you to hang on to? And there's a reservoir down here that's quite popular. Southeast Aurora is where $1 million stretches the furthest on this list. This is where it feels like potential luxury, even depending on where you're coming from and your thoughts on the luxury real estate market. Now, when we talk about Aurora, we're talking about one of the most misunderstood cities in the Denver metro. So many people think of Aurora as the region just east of the city of Denver, where some may say is a less desirable place to be. But the truth is, Aurora is a huge city by landmass, and when you push past the urban core, you reach sprawling suburbia. And in the far southeast, master plan communities have been building out big time, with homes approaching 6,000 square feet at the $1 million price point. You would pay triple that in Denver proper for the same square footage. Now, these are master plan communities, so big builders have designed modern layouts and provided quite a few community amenities, including parks, pools, tennis courts. You get a decent lot, quiet streets. It sits in the Cherry Creek School District, one of the highest rated in the state. The honest trade-off is distance. So since you're far from downtown out here, the drive is doable, but expect about 45 minutes to an hour if traffic is bad into the downtown Denver area. But the upside is that airport access is fairly quick. I think 20 minutes or so on 470 without traffic. I tell my clients to try the drive out themselves. If you can, take that drive on a normal weekday to get a feel of the commute. You'll see that it's not all that impossible. But most people living in this area are not making a regular trip to downtown Denver. Many work in the much closer Denver Tech Center. For a family chasing the most house and top-rated schools who doesn't need to be near the core, nothing else on this list touches it on size for the money. Size, of course, not everything, and our next stop proves it, because there's a corner of the metro where you trade in size for the Colorado life. Now, flip everything you just heard about Aurora on its head, and it's basically our next entry. We're headed to the completely opposite end of town. Golden is one of the most wanted corners of the whole metro. Now, for purposes of this video, I'm primarily talking about Golden proper. There are master plan communities on the other side of town in Golden, where homes built in the early 2000s can also run around $1 million, but may need a cosmetic update if there hasn't been one in the last 30 years. There are some newer master plan communities there too, but I'm primarily talking about the homes close to downtown Golden, built out in the 60s and 70s, close to Wheat Ridge. There are some similar vibes to Wheat Ridge. Again, lots of ranch style or bi-level brick homes. Within about a half a mile of downtown Golden, you might start getting some foothills homes with expansive views, so there are some options down here. While some of these homes might have some updates just above 1 million, many of them will need updates. So like Wash Park, you're buying location more than the home itself. It's a special place. Downtown Golden, Home Decor's Brewing, has Clear Creek running right through it for fishing or tubing. Trails run up through the foothills, excellent access into the mountains, wildlife, deer, eagles, you name it. It is so Colorado, which is a big draw there at the base of the foothills. Again, as you move away from that downtown area, you will find more space for $1 million. Communities like North Table Mountain, built in the early 2000s, offer that more traditional master plan feel with the few upgrades needed. And I cannot stress this enough, in a market this tight, you buy Golden for Golden. Don't expect a good commute into downtown Denver. This fits the buyer whose heart is set on this spot and lifestyle, and who's happy to trade square footage and take on a little work to plant their flag here. But if newness and space matter more to you than a foothills zip code, there's one more stop that flips the whole thing. Out on the northern edge, about halfway between Boulder and Denver, is where $1 million quietly becomes a whole lot of house. Erie is built almost all around newer master plan communities, so that budget gets you a home built in the last 10 years. It'll likely be just under 5,000 square feet at $1 million, with a modern open layout and a playground, park, pool, gym built right into the neighborhood. You might get a 3-car garage, a solid lot, and finishes that are done, and you've got a home with nothing left to touch. I've sold out in Erie right around this mark, so I've seen firsthand how much home that number covers up there. It makes $1 million feel more like $2 million down in some of the other places we've talked about today. This is the one I'd really recommend if you really want new construction, you really like being a little further away from the Denver downtown area. You won't find a deal like this in many other places. So Erie is for the buyer who wants big, modern, turnkey, and who'd rather sit between Boulder and Denver than right on top of the city. People in Erie, by the way, love the outdoors. Cycling culture is big up here. The views turning off the highway are incredible, and you're probably spending more time in Boulder than in Denver. So after all 6 stops, what's the real takeaway when the same number buys 6 different lives? Your $1 million goes furthest out in Aurora and up in Erie, where you're walking into that newer 5,000 to 6,000 square foot house. And it barely gets you in the door in Wash Park and Golden, where it means something smaller and older with work ahead. Centennial and Wheat Ridge, on the other hand, land right in the middle. The real move is figuring out what matters most to you, whether that's square footage, a finished home, top-rated schools, a walkable address, before you ever truly pick the area. Because $1 million buys a different life on each one. Like I said at the beginning, in some places $1 million can be feeling really luxurious, but you have to know where to look. The number on your budget matters way less than the question you answer first. What kind of life do you want that money to buy? Get that clear, and every one of these 6 areas either falls into place or falls away. If you want a straight personal read on where your $1 million goes furthest for the life you're after, email me, ryan@ryanhaarer.com, and let's map it out before you commit to a single showing. I'll help you match the right pocket of Denver to what matters most to you. Now, picking the area is only half the battle, because when you buy or sell can swing your outcome by tens of thousands of dollars. And the video I've linked right here breaks down the exact calendar windows I give my own clients. Check it out. I'm Ryan Haarer, your Denver area real estate agent. I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.